We'll gather round, feel the love compound. Blue elephant is strong. Together.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So Let's Resin recently sent me their gorgeous snowflake molds. Now in this pack you get 6 different snowflakes. 4 of them are kind of like the 3D, like you get the silicone that kind of overlaps, so you get the full, like this one, you get the full effect on both sides. And then 2 that have kind of like the flat back, they're only like they have a right way around. That one, this one right here, like that. And we are going to do some snowflakes today. Now these molds are gorgeous. Each one is a different shape. They are different sizes, which I absolutely love. Super versatile. You can do so many things with them. So for today, we are going to use Let's Resin's epoxy resin. And I'm just going to measure out a small amount. Now, when I mix my resin, because I reuse my plastic cups and I don't necessarily ever ever remember to clean them out like with alcohol or whatever. So usually the resin dries in those plastic cups and I can never get it out, and I can't use the measurements on there. So I use my silicone cup to measure it and then pour it all into the plastic cup and mix it from there, which is why you see like a bunch of nasty dirty cups, but I'm not going to waste them. Anyway, I use my ISTOYO small handheld mixer to mix it with. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it into 6 different cups. And in each cup, I am using Mylar flakes of different colors. I'm using blues, I'm using green, I'm going to use white, I'm using 2 different shades of pink and purple, I think. I filmed this part quite a while ago and I just never got around to finishing it in a timely fashion with everything going on. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm putting that into my disposable cups because I don't like to have to clean that stuff out of my real good cups that I reuse over and over again because it's just a mess and whatever. Okay, so if you've never used these kind of snowflake molds before, they do have on the top part of them next to where the hole is going to be, because they do give you an area that you can insert this little silicone kind of pluggy dealy, and you have to cut it out with your craft blade very carefully. Now they give you 2 on each one, so if you ever lose them, you have another one. And then you just slide it into the hole all the way through. There's a little hole that you can put it into that adjoins it on the bottom, and you just make sure it's there. And then that ensures that you have your hole ready for your string or ribbon or whatever it is that you're going to put in it. Okay, back to the resin. Now, I did add a little bit of the Unicone crushed crystal to this, and I did it before I split them up because that's going to be the one constant in all of these. Now, each one is going to be a different color, and I went ahead and I got my Aurora, or the Neon Aurora powders from Into Resin, and I kind of matched them up with the colors of the Mylar flakes that I'm using. I am not coloring my resin. It is going to be predominantly clear. Before I mixed in the crushed crystal, I did run it through my Let's Resin bubble remover because it's going to be clear. I don't want any bubbles in this resin whatsoever. Now I realize I am adding the colors. I am adding the Mylar flakes. I added the crushed crystal. Like, there is a chance that I incorporate bubbles while I mix it, but I'm going to be careful and it'll be okay. Now for this one, because I did not have a silver, and that is what color I chose to go with for the white Mylar flakes, I did add a little bit of Let's Resin's silver interference powder. Just a tiny bit. I'm not looking to color it. I just kind of want to have that kind of shimmer where you kind of can catch the little bit of color in it, if that makes sense. And that is what I'm doing with each one of these. Just a tad. The smallest bit, just to give it a little bit of a, what did I see in that? Did I see something catching the light type deal? You know what I mean? So that is what I'm doing with these. Now, the pink, I believe it is, I did have to use the same color twice because there wasn't variations. Like, it's a 5 color set. So I used the colors that I had that were close to it. Pink was, I have 2 different shades of pink and 1 shade of pink Aurora powder, so it's fine. It'll be fine. It doesn't matter. Now, on these, what I did, and I don't know if any of you guys do it, but a helpful hint for me, because they don't actually give them they don't give them numbers. They don't give them names. So, like, they don't tell you what the actual color is, green, red, blue, orange, whatever the case may be. They just give them numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, to help myself out, because they all do have a white base, it's just whatever the shimmer is in it, whatever that, that kind of glimpse of color that's in there. I went ahead and with a Sharpie, I just wrote green, purple, blue on it so that I don't have to kind of try and figure out what it is next time, if that makes sense. Okay, so I've got my one mixed up. It's ready to go. Sprayed my mold with alcohol, and the reason I did this is because we've got all these nooks and crannies and all this detail in these molds. I am pouring very slow to let the resin flow and find its own way into it, and because they are clear, it is very easy to see if you have any air bubbles trapped in here. So if you have any air bubbles, you can do like I'm doing and get a dotting tool, a silicone tool, something that does not have a sharp edge on it, because you don't want to scratch your mold. Work that air bubble out, hit it with a heat gun, set this one off to the side, and work on the next one. Now this one is the largest of the 6 snowflakes, and of course I did not make enough resin in this one. I've not used these before, so I was kind of guesstimating how much resin each one took. It's fine. It'll be fine. Now, I did have a tiniest bit of like clear left, so I'm just kind of scraping everything to try and fill it up. We'll set this off to the side and mix up a little bit more later just to fill it up the rest of the way. And I'm doing the same thing with each one of these. I'm just going in and slowly adding the resin to them, giving them a spritz of alcohol first. When I'm done, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. Now, the molds that have the overlap of the silicone, where you're inserting those little silicone pieces in there to make the hole for you, you do want to make sure that that resin is getting on all sides of that hole so that you don't have big air bubbles in there, right? Just like you would on the one that I'm working on now, you would go around that little ring just to make sure that the resin goes all the way through. You're going to want to do that with those other ones too. Like I said, since these molds are nice and see-through, you shouldn't have an issue, but do double check that just to make sure. And the reason you want to pour slow is and let the resin find its own way. If you pour fast with all the detail that's in these molds, all the facets and all of that kind of stuff, if you pour too fast, air can get trapped down in there. So if you pour nice and slowly and the resin finds its own way, you're less likely to have those issues with the air bubbles getting trapped in those locations, because the resin is just kind of slowly, lazily finding its own way into all those nooks and crannies and facets and all of that good stuff. And then you shouldn't have an issue. Not to say that you won't, because you could. Resin likes to do what resin wants to do, but I'm just saying. All right, so this is another one that I needed a little bit more in. Yes, I realize that it is green. I am going and doing my best not to get any of the green in there, just to kind of go with as much as just straight resin as I can. Okay? It's fine. It'll be fine. Now, I didn't have enough for this last one, so that is what I'm mixing up now. And then I'm just going to add clear to the rest of this, and that is simply just to fill it up. Like, there's no point in going through and adding any more of the into resin color or anything like that. Like, it's fine. It'll be fine. I'm just going to add a little bit of clear, and then I'll pull those mylar flakes that are pushed into the, like, all of the little individual, not hands of the snowflake, but, you know, the little spiky things pointing out. Oh my God, I can't think today. But I'm pulling, I will pull them. You'll see. We'll wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. It'll be fine. Let's go back to what I'm doing now. So, pouring it in this last color, and now I'm going to fill up and put the clear in. Now, because I'm putting the clear in the middle, it is pushing all the mylar flakes out towards the outer edges. And I'm just going to take my tool and I'm just going to move them back in after I hit it with the heat gun, to pop any bubbles. And that's just to make sure, I mean, I realize that when resin cures, it pulls towards the middle anyway, but I just want to make sure that I don't have a big empty, blank spot in there. I want the Mylar flakes to be more spread around evenly, if that makes sense. Now, just gonna finish filling these guys up the rest of the way, and then we're going to let this cure and do its thing. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm kind of just pulling that color out, pulling those Mylar flakes out, getting it all mixed in nice so that it looks like, I don't want it to look like, oh, she just dumped a bunch of clear in here because she ran out of resin. All right, here we are, 24 hours later, and let's see what we have. Now, obviously, these two that just have the flat back like this are super simple, easy, very, very, they know how to come out. Yep, they just jump out themselves. They're very straightforward on how to come out. Green is perfect. I mean, I think it looks beautiful, the shine, the facets, whatever. Now, with these ones, they're not quite as straightforward. You do need to make sure that you take out that little pin sticky hole thingy. And what I did, I think it's absolutely gorgeous too, is find a side, loosen it up like that, and then just start kind of pulling each side out, like each little, we're gonna go back to the hands again and the arms of these snowflakes because my god, I can't freaking think, but you know what I'm talking about, the little icicle frozen bits. Any newcomers, I promise you I'm not this stupid. I do have words that work on most occasions. Just today is not one of them. Don't judge me on this video alone, please. Anyway, yes, you want to loosen it up and then just kind of work them out slowly. You don't want to tear. The silicone is very, very thin. It is stretchy, but you got to be careful so you don't tear it and rip it because that can happen if you are too rough with it. But it does come out fairly easily once you kind of get the hang of how it is that you're supposed to demold these. I think they are absolutely gorgeous. I love how there's just that hint of color. I love the iridescence in the Mylar flakes that just add that sparkle and shine to them. Each one is different. Granted, they're not like super crazy Christmassy colors. They're not necessarily snowflake colors, but they are beautiful in their own right, and I think that they are stunning. Now, as far as what to do with them, there are so many possibilities I want to do with them, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have to talk quick. Okay, just a little bit of, it's just stretch cord for bracelets. That's what I'm going to use. It's that clear kind of stretchy cord. You use that to tie these on. What I'm going to do is I am going to, once we start actually getting into our house and we decorate for Christmas, we have a banister. Like, I don't have stairs in my house now. I think what I want to do is I want to put some greenery going down the banister, and I'm going to attach the snowflakes to that and have them hanging off, maybe with some clear lights or something like that so the light catches them and reflects and sparkles. I think will be really pretty. I also had contemplated, and I was going to include it in this video, but changed my mind, on making kind of like a mobile, like you would see like a baby mobile with some snowflakes hanging down from it, like that. You could do all kinds of things. You could hang these in your windows. You can hang them on your tree, obviously. Like, there are so many things that you can do. Once I actually am in my house, we get it decorated, I will show you what I am going to do with them so you can actually like see how I finish them off. But there are a lot of possibilities for these, just the different styles and shapes. Like, no two snowflakes in real life supposedly are the same. So I love the fact that each one is different and you can just make bunches and bunches of these and put them everywhere. Those of you that decorate outside, I mean, I know resin isn't supposed to be really great for outside, but you may be able to put them outside, like with your lights in your house and have snowflakes. Like, wouldn't that be pretty? So many things that you could do. Ooh, or if you have like a bay window and you set up your bay window for Christmas, you could have these dropping from the top of the bay window. That would be gorgeous. These molds have endless possibilities on what you could do with them, how you could decorate them, and make them your own, color-wise, any other way you want. Anyway, guys, that's a wrap on this one. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you guys on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Sitting inside by the firelight, windows frost like lace they spin, coffee steams on glass so thin, footsteps crunch on paths untamed, nights of tales and games unnamed. Oh, the world it turns in silence deep, blankets us in dreams we keep, warm with hearts that softly glow.